So I have a very, very funny, hysterical, hypocritical video for you guys today. I'm going to be reading 16 times, according to MediaMatters.org, 16 times Fox News claimed Obama, quote, diminished the office of the presidency. I'll put the link in the description below. I'm only going to read 2 or 3, I believe. So this all comes after the aftermath of Trump tweeting the somewhat gross tweet of what he said about Morning Joe and Mika in particular. Now, Morning Joe is Joe Scarborough, a Republican. He's a center right Republican. He's not going to agree with Trump on everything. He obviously is going. He believes Trump is going too far, but he probably still agrees with Trump on some issues. And Mika's the Democrat on the show, and she's a corporate Democrat. She's a center-left, corporatist, warmongering, anything but what Democrats should be. So she's just a centrist Democrat. And so that's the two people we're talking about here. And Trump decided to go after them after they did something, or it's a bunch of he said, she said. It's a cat fight. It really, I thought the petty elite argument would end when Trump became president, but I guess not. And then so I'll put the tweet up as I'm talking. You'll probably would have seen it already. And then he tweeted out a gif of Trump body slamming someone from the WWE, but he put CNN's face on top of the person he body slammed and put hashtag fraud news network, hashtag FNN or something ridiculous like that. So the Democrats and the media are really running with the side of the story of how gross the tweet was against Mika, and it's kind of overshadowing the tweet of him body slamming someone with CNN's face on it. Now, I mean, if there was to be someone who went into a CNN news conference room or just CNN headquarters and started shooting up the place, and then he or she was arrested, and we found out that they had, through Facebook and social media, had either supported Trump, or would that be a direct correlation between how violently he's talking about how CNN is bad and how the media is the enemy of the people? Like, would there be a direct correlation there? Would that be a fair argument to make? In my eyes, I think so, because everyone on the right was able to pull out of their assholes that Bernie Sanders, who has literally been nothing but 40 years of promoting peace, was somehow the reason why that person in Virginia went on a crazy shooting rampage, which I obviously am Bernie Sanders, rightfully so, because for the past 40 years in public life, he's been very pro-peace, very war and self-defense, very not violent. But Trump literally said, I'll cover the medical bills, knock them out, why don't you? I'll cover you, back in the quote, this is a direct quote, back in the good old days, these people would have been taken out on stretchers, believe me. Yeah, on stretchers, believe me, back in the good old days. So he does talk about violence. I'm not saying he incites violence. I think that's not true, but he does talk about violence. He says he's going to cover the fees of someone if you knock him out. He literally said that on the campaign trail multiple times, 2 different instances I'm thinking of. So if someone did go into the CNN headquarters and started shooting up the place, would it be fair to connect the dots on Donald Trump and that person? The right would say no, the left would say maybe, and I think yes, straight up. So, but the media is focusing on the sexist part of that story. When the media, or Democrats in general, if they wanted to win this argument, they would bring up whether or not that tweet, both of them, the CNN one and the Mika Brzezinski one, diminishes the office of the presidency. Because the right has always believed that, hey, listen, no matter who's in office, the presidency is what matters most. You can disrespect the person in charge, but you can't disrespect the office of the presidency. Fair enough, fair point. MediaMatters.org. 16 times Fox News claimed Obama diminished the office of the presidency. Now, I have 2 very funny, hysterical ones. Okay. First is Greta Van Susteren. I'll start with that one because it is funny. So, October 2nd, 2014, Greta Van Susteren, a known Fox News commentator, had her own show, I think at 7 o'clock, about a year or 2 ago. Obviously, it was 2014. So She had a long-running show, and she would do these things at the end of it where it would be like the freedom talk or something ridiculous and super false patriotic like that, you know. So on October 2nd, 2014, during the end rant that she would always do, kind of like Tommy Loren's final thoughts, October 2nd, 2014, quote from Greta Van Susteren, quote, "So as we face down big problems in the world, skip the trash talk. It only diminishes the office of the presidency." Skip the trash talk. Isn't that literally what Trump supporters like about him? That he's from New York, he's from Queens, it's a trash talk. He's like, meet me out the streets. Oh, you know, you expect me to stop? No, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going harder than you. Isn't that what people like about him? It's a blatant hypocrisy. Now, Greta Van Susteren, I bet, since she's on NBC, the liberal network, even though they have George Will and super hardline right-wingers, they're a centrist network they're a neutral network at best. A neutral central network. Here's what Democrats say, here's what Republicans say, and that's it. Next topic. So, Greta Van Susteren says that. Do you think she's saying that now? Do you think, all right, listen here, Trump, stop trash talking Morning Joe and Mika Brzezinski? Like, what? No, like, you've got ISIS to worry about. You've got your health care bill to worry about. You've got all these different things to worry about. You're worrying about some, in your own words, Trump, low-rated, poorly rated unknowns like Morning Joe or Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. Like, why, like, she's not saying that. She's a blatant hypocrite. Of course she's not saying that. Come on. So the second one is something that I love. This one's the best. Let me find it. Where is it? For the Greta Van Susteren thing, the thing that he did was he criticized Fox News in a speech. So she's saying, we face big problems in the world. Skip the trash talk. Don't trash talk Fox News. It only diminishes the office of the president. So if your argument is the president, when trash talking news networks, if presidents start trash talking news networks, it diminishes the office of the presidency. Well, then there you go. There's another thing to talk about. He literally called the new media the enemy of the people. That's trash talking. The tweet alone of him body slamming CNN, that's trash talking. Like, in Greta Van Susteren's eyes and Fox News' eyes, that is diminishing the office of the presidency. They won't say that. Of course, they won't say that. They're fake news. They're completely biased. They're completely hypocritical. Facts don't mean anything in Fox News world. They've never really meant something. So it amazes me that this is the thing that's going on. So let's move on to Christian Powers. She's a known Fox News commentator. She's on there all the time. She talks to Bill O'Reilly, I think. She's probably talked to Hannity. I know I've seen her on Bill O'Reilly's show. April 6, 2013. So this is Christian Powers. This is the funniest one of them all, I believe. So what Obama did to make Christian Powers think, oh, he's diminishing the office of the presidency, was a Politico report that noted that President aides often find fault with Obama's critics via Twitter. So they get into it with critics of Obama on Twitter. Okay. April 6, 2013. I'm on Twitter a lot. And when I see some of the things that these guys say, it's just beneath the office of the president. So not even Obama is tweeting out these things against people. Aides of Obama is tweeting out things of these people. And it's beneath the office of the presidency, even though Obama doesn't have any control over what these people say. So therefore, in Christian Powers' eyes, and again in Fox News' eyes, if the president tweets on... If aides of the president tweet on Twitter against critics, it diminishes the office of the presidency. I wonder what that would translate to if the president himself tweets against critics of him on Twitter. Because if the standard is the aides diminish the office of the president, then the president himself must really diminish the office of the president, because we're going one step further. And no, she won't say that, because it's Fox News. They're all a bunch of fake news hypocrites, because that's exactly what the news network has been for the past forever. And my supporting evidence for that conclusion is another one of these. Where is Patrick Buchanan, May 2nd, 2012. And the great asset the president has is the Oval Office, the presidency of the United States. He is diminishing that by using events which are national events as partisan events. The thing that made him think, the event he's talking about is when Obama ordered the SEAL team to go in and kill Osama bin Laden. He's using that as a political, for political points. I don't think he used it enough. I think he should have talked about that way more, but that's to each their own. So, if his argument is, listen, man, if you use any national event to push your political agenda, you diminish the office of the president. Oh, really? Will you say that about Bush in Iraq? Bush pushed a national event, 9/11, to push his agenda of getting us to go to war against Saddam Hussein, that in Fox News world diminishes the office of the presidency. So this whole list is amazing. You got Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity's on here, Megyn Kelly's on here. You know, some of these are just funny, and they're just grasping at straws to have, like the Megyn Kelly one's hysterical. So all of these are funny. Link down below. Those are just three of the big ones, because what they criticized Obama for doing, they're literally championing. They're like the spearheads of the exact same thing, but Trump's doing it. So therefore, they're good. It's all good. So literally what Obama did was bad. The exact same thing Trump's doing is good. That's called hypocrisy. Period. No more comment. There is no but. There is no maybe. There is no well. No. Fox News hosts and commentators are hypocrites. Period.